The information provided in this video is for educational and informational purposes only and does not constitute professional IT consulting or architectural advice. The views and opinions expressed are based on industry experience and analysis. Before making any significant purchasing, implementation, or architectural decisions for your enterprise, you should always consult with your organization's certified professionals, key stakeholders, and official Oracle representatives to assess your specific business needs and technical requirements. It's 2 a.m. on a Tuesday. Your phone buzzes on the nightstand, a vibration that sends a jolt of ice water through your veins. It's the alert, the one you dread. The company's flagship application is grinding to a halt. Within minutes, you're in a virtual war room. The application team is blaming the database. The database team is pointing fingers at the storage array. The network team swears their packets are flowing perfectly. Everyone's looking at their own monitoring dashboard, and every dashboard is a sea of green check marks. Yet, the entire system is collapsing. Your CIO is on the line wanting answers you don't have. Customer support tickets are flooding in. Every minute of downtime is costing the company tens of thousands of dollars in lost revenue. And something even more valuable: customer trust. Sound familiar? That chaotic, reactive, finger-pointing scramble is the nightmare of modern IT. It's a firefight where you're always one step behind the flames. But what if that whole scenario was a relic of the past? What if you had a single source of truth? A genuine crystal ball for your entire technology stack, from the application code all the way down to the disk spindles. A system that doesn't just tell you when something is broken, but tells you when something is about to break. A system that learns the unique rhythm and heartbeat of your environment, so it can spot a problem hours, or even days, before it impacts a single user. This isn't science fiction. This is about shifting from a reactive firefighter to a proactive fire marshal. And the tool that makes this possible, the one that's secretly powering some of the world's most resilient and high-performance systems, is Oracle Enterprise Manager. Now, I know what some of you might be thinking. Enterprise Manager? Isn't that just the free tool that comes with the database? That's one of the biggest and most costly misconceptions in the industry. Thinking of OEM as just a simple database dashboard is like thinking of a smartphone as just a device for making calls. You're missing 99% of the power. In this video, I'm going to cut through the noise and the feature list to show you the top 3 game-changing benefits of using Oracle Enterprise Manager to its full potential. We're not talking about minor tweaks. We're talking about a fundamental transformation in how you manage your IT landscape, prevent outages, save your company millions, and maybe, just maybe, let you sleep through the night. Let's dive right into the first, and arguably the most crucial benefit: proactive problem detection and diagnostics. This directly attacks the 2 a.m. war room scenario we just talked about. The traditional approach to IT monitoring is based on static thresholds. You set an alert. If CPU usage goes above 90%, send me an email. The problem is, 90% CPU might be perfectly normal during your end-of-month batch processing, but a complete disaster on a quiet Sunday morning. These static alerts create a constant storm of false positives, leading to alert fatigue. Your team starts ignoring the warnings, and when a real issue strikes, it gets lost in the noise. You're essentially waiting for the house to be on fire before the smoke alarm goes off. Oracle Enterprise Manager flips this entire model on its head. It uses a combination of machine learning and deep historical analysis to understand what normal actually looks like for every single component in your stack, at any given time of day of the week, or even time of the year. This is powered by features like adaptive thresholds and anomaly detection. Instead of you telling the system what's bad, the system learns what's good. It builds a dynamic, constantly evolving performance baseline. It knows your e-commerce application's heartbeat on a Black Friday morning is completely different from a regular Wednesday afternoon. So, when a key metric starts to deviate from that learned behavior even slightly, OEM flags it. It's not just a dumb alert. It's an intelligent observation. It's the system raising its hand and saying, "Hey, I've seen this workload run 1,000 times, and it's never behaved quite like this before. You might want to take a look before it becomes a problem." This is the difference between a doctor seeing a worrying trend on your EKG during a routine checkup versus a paramedic responding to your 911 call after a heart attack. One is proactive prevention, the other is reactive disaster recovery. But spotting the problem is only half the battle. The real magic is in the diagnostics. This is where OEM truly leaves other monitoring tools in the dust. When that anomaly is detected, it's not just a red light on a dashboard. Enterprise Manager's diagnostics capabilities, especially through the diagnostics and tuning packs, act like a world-class performance detective. It automatically correlates data from across the entire stack, the database, the operating system, the storage, the application server, to pinpoint the root cause. Let me give you a concrete example. An online retail company was experiencing intermittent slowdowns on their checkout page. The issue was impossible to replicate. It would happen for a few minutes, then disappear. The application team saw nothing in their logs. The database team saw CPU usage spike, but couldn't identify a specific cause before it went back to normal. They spent weeks in meetings, pointing fingers and getting nowhere, all while losing sales from frustrated customers abandoning their carts. Finally, they leveraged OEM's Performance Diagnostics. The next time the slowdown occurred, Enterprise Manager's active session history, or ASH analytics, captured everything. It didn't just show a CPU spike, it showed exactly which SQL statement from which user, from which application module was consuming all of that CPU. It turned out to be a poorly written query in a new promotional feature that only triggered when a specific, rare combination of items was in a customer's cart. Without OEM, finding that needle in a haystack would have been a matter of pure luck. With OEM, the root cause was identified in under 5 minutes. They could see the exact line of code, the execution plan the database was using, and even received a recommendation on how to fix it using the SQL Tuning Advisor. Think about the business impact of that. This isn't just about making a DBA's life easier. This is about directly protecting revenue. This is about converting abandoned carts into completed sales. This is about transforming your IT department from a cost center that fixes broken things to a value-driving partner that ensures the business runs smoothly and efficiently. The ability to go from the website is slow to it's this specific line of code in the promotions module, and here's how to fix it in a matter of minutes is not just an improvement, it's a superpower. That is the power of proactive detection and deep diagnostics. It's the first and most foundational benefit of truly mastering Oracle Enterprise Manager. But that's just table stakes. That's firefighting, even if it's firefighting with a high-tech, laser-guided water cannon. What if you could prevent the fires from ever starting? What if you could stop being the person who heroically saves the day and start being the architect of a system so robust, so consistent, that it rarely needs saving? This brings us to the second and arguably most transformative benefit of Oracle Enterprise Manager: comprehensive lifecycle management and automation. Now, lifecycle management sounds like one of those dry corporate buzzwords that makes your eyes glaze over. So let's forget the jargon. Let's call it what it really is: the Get Your Life Back benefit. It's the difference between being a digital mechanic, constantly turning the same wrenches on 1,000 different engines, and being the engineer who designs a self-maintaining fleet. Let me tell you a story about two database administrators. Let's call them Manual Mark and Automated Anna. Both are brilliant. Both are dedicated. But their weekends look dramatically different. A critical security patch for the database has just been released. It needs to be applied to 150 servers across development, testing, and production environments. For Manual Mark, this is a nightmare. His Friday is spent writing change control documents. His Saturday is a blur of caffeine and remote sessions, as he painstakingly logs into Server 1, runs the pre-checks, applies the patch, runs the post-checks, and prays. 150 times. He's terrified of the fat finger error. That one typo at 2 in the morning on server number 97 that brings a critical system down. His entire weekend is consumed by repetitive, high-risk, low-reward work. Now let's look at Automated Anna. She uses Enterprise Manager. On Friday afternoon, she opens the patching dashboard. She sees the new patches available. She schedules a deployment plan. She tells Enterprise Manager, first, apply this to the 5 development servers. If they all succeed and pass the validation checks, then roll it out to the 20 test servers. If those succeed, wait for my manual approval, and then during the approved maintenance window on Saturday at 1 a.m., deploy it to the production fleet in rolling batches of 10 to ensure zero downtime. She clicks Submit, and then she goes home. She enjoys her Friday night. She spends Saturday with her family. Sometime on Saturday afternoon, she gets a single email notification. Patching plan complete. All 150 targets successfully patched and verified. This isn't science fiction. This is the reality of lifecycle automation. Mark is working in the business, stuck in the weeds. Anna is working on the business, operating at a strategic level. They both achieved the same result, but Anna did it with less risk, perfect consistency, and she reclaimed dozens of hours of her life. That's the power we're talking about. Patching is just one piece of the puzzle. This philosophy extends across the entire lifespan of your systems. Think about provisioning. The old way of building a new database environment was an artisanal craft. It involved a week-long checklist of installing the operating system, installing the database software, configuring storage, setting up networking, running security hardening scripts. And at the end you had a unique, handcrafted server that was probably the same as the others. With Enterprise Manager, this process is industrialized. You create a gold image, a perfect, pre-configured, pre-patched, security-hardened template of your ideal environment. When a development team needs a new database for a project, you don't start from scratch. You essentially tell Enterprise Manager, "Give me a copy of that." And in minutes, a fully functional, perfectly compliant environment is spun up, ready to go. It's like going from hand-carving furniture to using a high-precision 3D printer. The speed is incredible, but the real benefit is the consistency. Every environment is a perfect clone, eliminating the "it worked in dev" problem that plagues so many IT shops. But here's where it gets even more powerful. It's not just about creating systems and patching them, it's about keeping them in a known good state. This is where we fight against one of the most insidious enemies in all of IT: configuration drift. Configuration drift is the silent killer of stability. It's what happens when, over time, small, undocumented changes accumulate across your systems. A developer changes a database parameter to test something and forgets to change it back. A sysadmin tweaks a network setting to solve a temporary problem. One by one, these changes are tiny, but collectively, they create a landscape where no two servers are truly alike. Your production environment no longer matches your disaster recovery site. Your test environment behaves differently than production. You're flying blind, and you're just one small change away from a major outage. Enterprise Manager is your defense against this chaos. It allows you to define a baseline, a golden configuration, for what a healthy server should look like. You can then compare every single one of your systems against this baseline automatically. Enterprise Manager will highlight every single deviation. It's like one of those spot the difference puzzles, but for thousands of lines of configuration code, and it finds every single difference in seconds. It can tell you that the memory_target parameter on server 37 is different from the gold standard. It can tell you that an OS package on your DR server is a version behind production. And here's the magic, it doesn't just tell you, you can fix it. You can set up rules that say, if any system deviates from this baseline, automatically correct it and notify me. This is proactive governance. You're not just discovering drift after it causes a problem. You're preventing it from ever taking root. You are enforcing consistency and compliance across your entire estate, automatically 24/7. This single capability can save an organization from countless hours of troubleshooting and prevent outages that could cost millions. When you combine automated provisioning, automated patching, and automated configuration management, something profound happens. You fundamentally change the scale at which you can operate. Managing 10 databases manually is a full-time job. Managing 100 is a team effort. Managing 1,000 is nearly impossible without an army of administrators. But with a tool like Enterprise Manager, a single skilled individual or a small team can effectively manage an estate of thousands of systems. You're not just making a process 10% more efficient, you're achieving a 10-fold, or even a 100-fold, increase in operational leverage. You've moved from being a craftsman to running an assembly line. This isn't just about making an IT admin's life easier. It's about enabling the business to move faster. When the business needs a new environment for a critical project, the answer isn't, "We'll have it for you in 2 weeks." It's, "How about in 20 minutes?" When a new security vulnerability is announced, the answer isn't, "We'll spend the next month patching." It's, "We'll be compliant by tomorrow." You are removing IT as a bottleneck and transforming it into an accelerator for business innovation. So, we've seen how Enterprise Manager gives you the superpower to diagnose any problem. And now we see how it gives you the power of the assembly line, to build, maintain, and manage your entire IT estate with incredible speed, consistency, and scale. You're no longer just fighting fires. You've fireproofed the entire city. But there's a third level, a final piece of the puzzle that elevates you from a master technician to a true business strategist. Now that your environment is stable, consistent, and automated, what do you do with all that power? How do you align this finely tuned technical engine with the actual goals of the business? That question is the million-dollar question. In fact, for most large companies, it's the $100 million question. It's the chasm that exists between the server room and the boardroom. It's the fundamental disconnect that turns brilliant IT professionals into frustrated order takers and turns visionary business leaders into disappointed executives who view IT as nothing more than a giant, expensive utility bill. You have achieved technical excellence. Your dashboards are a sea of green lights. Uptime is 5 nines. Patches are deployed on schedule. But here's the brutal truth the business cares about. None of that matters. Not directly. The CEO doesn't care about CPU utilization. The head of sales doesn't care about your storage array's latency. They care about one thing: results, revenue, customer satisfaction, market share. And if your sea of green lights doesn't translate into their success, then in their eyes, you are failing. This brings us to the second and arguably the most transformative benefit of Oracle Enterprise Manager. It gives you the power to manage your technology from the perspective of the business itself. It allows you to finally speak the same language as your executive team. Let me paint a picture for you. Imagine a fast-growing online retail company. Let's call them Urban Trove. Their IT team is fantastic. They're sharp, dedicated, and they keep the infrastructure humming. They monitor everything: server health, database response times, network traffic. On Black Friday, the biggest sales day of the year, their monitoring dashboards are pristine. Everything is green. Yet, the support lines are lighting up like a Christmas tree. The company's Twitter feed is a dumpster fire of angry customers. The complaints are all the same. I can't add anything to my cart. Or the checkout page keeps timing out. The head of e-commerce storms into the IT war room frantic. What is going on? We are losing millions by the minute. The lead database administrator pulls up his screen and says with confidence, I don't know what the problem is, but it's not the database. All my key performance indicators are well within normal parameters. We're golden over here. The network engineer says the same thing. The server admin says the same thing. Everyone's individual component is working perfectly. They are all looking at their own piece of the puzzle, and their piece is fine. But the puzzle, the actual business process of a customer buying a product, is catastrophically broken. This is the classic IT nightmare. Everyone is technically correct, but the business is failing. They are measuring the wrong things. They are managing technology, not business outcomes. Now let's rewind this scenario and give the Urban Trove IT team Oracle Enterprise Manager, specifically its Application Performance Management, or APM capabilities. The game changes completely. Instead of just monitoring a collection of disconnected servers, databases, and network devices, they've used Enterprise Manager to define a business service called Customer Checkout Journey. This isn't a server. It's a concept. It's a logical grouping that contains every single technical component involved in that journey. The web servers that display the product page, the application servers that run the shopping cart logic, the database servers that process the inventory and payment information, and all the network connections in between. On Black Friday, instead of a sea of misleading green lights, the main Enterprise Manager dashboard has a giant, flashing red icon labeled Customer Checkout Journey. It's in a critical state. The head of e-commerce runs in, and this time the IT team is already on it. They click on the red icon. Enterprise Manager doesn't just show them a list of servers. It shows them a visual map of the entire transaction flow, from the moment a user clicks Add to Cart, all the way to the payment confirmation. They can see the data flowing through each tier: web, app, database, and they immediately spot a bottleneck. The data flow icon between the application server and the database is glowing red. The average wait time for a specific database call has skyrocketed from 5 milliseconds to 5,000 milliseconds. They drill down further. Enterprise Manager's APM pack pinpoints the exact line of code, the specific SQL statement, that is causing the logjam. It's a poorly optimized query related to a new promotional discount feature that was rushed out for the sale. It works fine with 100 users, but with 100,000 simultaneous users, it's grinding the entire system to a halt. Within minutes, they have identified the root cause. Not by guessing, not by blaming other teams, but by following a clear business-centric view of the problem. They can disable that specific promo code feature, or have a developer push a hotfix for that one query. The bottleneck vanishes. The customer checkout journey, service on the dashboard flips from red to yellow and finally back to a healthy green. The social media complaints stop. The sales start pouring in again. The fire is out. But Enterprise Manager goes even deeper than that. It has a tool called Real User Experience Insight, or RUEI. This is the part that feels like magic. RUEI passively monitors the network traffic and reconstructs the actual web pages and transactions as the end users see them. When a customer calls support and says, "I got a weird error on the checkout page," you don't have to ask them to clear their cache or try a different browser. You can look up their specific session in Enterprise Manager and watch a complete video replay of their experience. You see their mouse movements. You see the exact page they saw with the exact error message they received. You see how long each page took to load on their end. You are no longer debugging a server. You are diagnosing a real human being's frustrating experience. It is the ultimate tool for empathy and for rapid, precise problem solving. Think about the shift in conversation that happens after this. The IT team is no longer reporting on uptime and server stats. They walk into the boardroom and present a dashboard that shows average page load time for new visitors, shopping cart abandonment rate, and successful checkouts per hour. They can say, "Last quarter, the checkout process took an average of 45 seconds. By optimizing 2 specific database queries that Enterprise Manager identified, we've reduced that to 15 seconds. Based on industry data, this improvement should decrease cart abandonment by 20% and increase overall revenue by an estimated $1.5 million this quarter." Suddenly, IT is not a cost center. It's a profit center. It's a strategic partner. The DBA isn't just the person who manages table spaces. She's the person who made the website faster and generated millions in new revenue. This is the power of business-centric management. You stop managing infrastructure and you start managing value. You align every technical action with a tangible business outcome. You can finally prove with hard data the immense value your team brings to the table every single day. You've used automation to stabilize the environment and free up your time. Now you're using business alignment to focus that time on what truly matters. You're not just keeping the lights on. You're aiming those lights at the company's most important goals. So now you have this incredibly powerful, stable, and business-aligned machine. You've mastered the what and the why. You know what's happening in your environment, and you know why it matters to the business. But there's a third final piece of this strategic puzzle. How do you manage the how much? How do you control the spiraling costs of this massive, complex estate, especially as the business demands more, faster, and cheaper, all while looking towards the promise of the cloud? That is the billion-dollar question. It's the conversation happening in every boardroom, the line item on every budget review that makes CFOs break out in a cold sweat. It's the ghost in the machine of modern enterprise. Uncontrolled, unmanaged, and often unexplainable cost. You have this sprawling digital kingdom, but you're ruling it blind. You feel the financial drain, but you can't pinpoint the leak. You're essentially handing out blank checks to every department, every application, every project, with no real mechanism to track who's cashing them and what you're getting in return. It's a financial black hole, and it's getting bigger every single day. This is where we introduce the first monumental, game-changing benefit of Oracle Enterprise Manager. And it's the one that will make your finance team your biggest fan. We're talking about total cost visibility and optimization. This isn't just about saving a few bucks on a server. This is about transforming your entire IT operation from a cost center into a strategic, value-driven business partner. And it all starts with one simple, powerful concept. You cannot control what you cannot measure. Think about the electricity bill for your house. You get a statement that says you used a certain number of kilowatt hours and you pay for it. But what if you lived in a massive apartment complex with one single meter for the entire building? The landlord gets a bill for $1 million and just divides it by the number of apartments. You might be a single person who's barely home using minimal power, but you're paying the same as the family of 10 next door running every appliance 24/7. You'd be furious, right? It's unfair, inefficient, and there's zero incentive for anyone to conserve energy. Well, for decades, that's exactly how most large-scale IT has been run. A giant opaque utility where the business consumes resources, and the IT department just pays the ever-increasing bill. Enterprise Manager installs a smart meter on every single apartment in your IT building. This is the magic of its metering and chargeback capabilities. Suddenly, the fog lifts. You can see, with granular detail, exactly which line of business, which application, which development team is consuming what resources. How much CPU is the marketing department's new analytics platform using during a campaign launch? How much storage is the R&D team's new simulation environment chewing through? It's no longer a mystery. It's data. And with that data, the conversation changes completely. When the head of a department comes to you and says, I need a bigger database, I need more servers. The old answer was a shrug and a purchase order. The new answer is, let's look at the dashboard. You can show them their exact consumption patterns. You can have a real data-driven discussion about their needs versus their wants. You can implement a chargeback or a showback model, where business units are held accountable for the resources they consume. This one feature fundamentally alters behavior. When people see the cost associated with their consumption, they magically become more efficient. Waste disappears. It creates a culture of financial accountability that simply cannot exist when you're flying blind. But seeing where the money is going is only step one. The next question is, are you spending it wisely? This brings us to the second pillar of cost optimization, intelligent capacity planning. The old model of capacity planning was more like a dark art. You'd look at your current usage, guess what the future might hold, add a huge buffer just in case, and then go buy a mountain of hardware that would sit there 80% idle, depreciating in value from the moment you plugged it in. It was a strategy based on fear, the fear of running out of resources during a critical moment. And it was incredibly expensive. You were paying for power, cooling, floor space, and millions in capital for capacity you might not need for 3 years, if ever. Enterprise Manager replaces that fear-based guesswork with data-driven clairvoyance. It doesn't just look at a snapshot in time. It analyzes historical trends. It understands the rhythm of your business, the seasonal peaks of your retail application, the month-end crunch for your financial systems. Using this deep historical knowledge and sophisticated modeling, it can predict future capacity needs with stunning accuracy. It can tell you, based on your current growth trajectory, you will need to add X amount of processing power in 7 months. Not now, in 7 months. Think about what that does for your budget. You're no longer making massive, speculative capital expenditures. You're moving to a just-in-time model for your infrastructure. You buy what you need right when you need it. The savings are astronomical. You're eliminating waste, deferring massive purchases, and aligning your IT spending directly with the actual growth of the business. It's the difference between buying a whole new power plant because you're worried about a summer heat wave, versus simply bringing a few extra turbines online for the 3 days you actually need them. Now let's talk about the final piece of this cost control puzzle, and it's a big one: consolidation. Over years, most large companies experience something called server sprawl. A server is bought for a project. The project ends, but the server stays. A new application is launched on its own dedicated hardware. It only uses 10% of the machine's power, but nobody wants to risk putting anything else on it. This happens thousands of times, and you end up with a data center that looks like a sprawling, inefficient village of single-family homes, each one with its own costly infrastructure, power, and maintenance, when what you really need is a sleek, powerful, efficient skyscraper. Enterprise Manager's Consolidation Planner is the master architect that designs that skyscraper. It scans your entire environment, all your databases, all your servers, and analyzes their workloads, their performance characteristics, and their resource utilization over time. It then runs thousands of what-if scenarios to find the optimal consolidation plan. It can tell you, you can safely move these 150 underutilized databases onto this one single Exadata machine, and not only will they perform better, but you will save $2.8 million a year in licensing, hardware, and energy costs. It provides a concrete step-by-step blueprint for turning that sprawling village into a hyper-efficient tower. It identifies the best candidates for consolidation, recommends the right target platform, and validates that the plan won't create new performance bottlenecks. This isn't just about tidying up. This is a strategic initiative that can reclaim millions of dollars from your budget, freeing up that capital to be invested in innovation, not just keeping the lights on. And here's the critical link to the future. Remember that promise of the cloud we talked about? All of these tools, the metering, the capacity planning, the consolidation analysis, are the absolute prerequisite for a successful and cost-effective cloud journey. Many companies make the fatal mistake of lifting and shifting their on-premises mess directly into the cloud, naively believing it will magically become cheaper. It won't. You'll just end up with an even more expensive, harder-to-manage mess. Enterprise Manager allows you to optimize before you migrate. You use it to right-size your workloads, to understand their true resource footprint, and to consolidate them onto the most efficient cloud configurations. You go to the cloud with a lean, optimized, and fully understood portfolio of applications. You're not guessing what size virtual machine you need. You're telling the cloud provider exactly what you need because you have the data to prove it. You're starting your cloud journey from a position of power and intelligence, not from a position of hope and desperation. So you've done it. You've used Enterprise Manager to get a death grip on your costs. You've turned your IT budget from a black hole into a finely tuned instrument. You've consolidated your infrastructure. Your CFO thinks you walk on water. The business is getting everything it needs for less. You are the hero. Everything is perfect. And then, it's 2 a.m. on the Saturday of a holiday weekend, and your phone rings. It's the head of operations. His voice is trembling. The company's main e-commerce site is down, completely unresponsive. Every minute that goes by, you're not just losing sales, you're hemorrhaging customer trust. The money you so carefully saved is now evaporating in a cloud of lost revenue and social media outrage. Your perfectly consolidated, cost-optimized system has become a single massive point of failure. What went wrong? And more importantly, how in the world do you even begin to figure it out? The answer is you don't. Not easily. Not without a miracle. What happens next is a scene straight out of every IT professional's worst nightmare. It's called the war room, but it's less of a room and more of a digital witch hunt. Your phone starts vibrating off the desk. It's the CEO, then the head of sales, then marketing. The support lines are flooded. Twitter is a dumpster fire of angry customers. Every single person wants to know the same thing. What's wrong, and when will it be fixed? You have no answer. So the finger-pointing begins. Your database team swears the databases are fine. They're up, they're running, the lights are green. They blame the storage team. The storage team pulls up their dashboards. Flawless performance, zero latency. They say it must be the network. The network team runs their diagnostics and proves with pages of data that the packets are flowing beautifully. They point the finger at the application team. The application team, already under pressure, insists their code is perfect. It worked in testing. It must be that new consolidated database platform. It can't handle the load. Each team is an island, armed with its own specialized tools, its own dashboards, and its own version of the truth. They're all looking at a tiny piece of the elephant, and nobody can see the whole animal. So you dispatch your best people, your senior DBAs, your sysadmins, your top developers. They start the painful manual process of log diving. Imagine this, they're remotely connecting to dozens, maybe hundreds of servers. They're running complex commands to search through gigabytes, terabytes of raw text logs. They're looking for a single critical error message hidden in a sea of meaningless status updates. They're trying to correlate timestamps between the web server, the application server, and the database server. But the clocks on the machines are slightly out of sync, turning the timeline into a confusing mess. It's like trying to reassemble a shredded document in the middle of a hurricane. Hours turn into a day. A day turns into 2. You're burning money. Every minute of downtime is costing you thousands, maybe tens of thousands of dollars in lost sales. Not to mention the irreparable damage to your brand's reputation. The pressure is immense. You're trapped in a reactive loop, searching for a needle in a haystack the size of a mountain range. This chaos, this blame game, this frantic blind search, this is life for most IT organizations when things go wrong. But what if there was a different way? What if you could replace the war room with a single pane of glass? What if you could replace finger-pointing with data-driven facts? This brings us to the very first, and arguably the most powerful benefit of Oracle Enterprise Manager: radical end-to-end visibility and diagnostics. Enterprise Manager isn't just another monitoring tool that tells you if a server is up or down. That's table stakes. Enterprise Manager is the central nervous system for your entire IT stack. It sees everything, understands the relationships between all the moving parts, and most importantly, it remembers. Let's rewind our disaster scenario. The website is down. The war room is forming. But this time you have Enterprise Manager. Instead of dispatching a dozen engineers to dig through logs, one person opens a single dashboard. And there it is. Not a sea of confusing green lights, but a clear, intuitive, top-down view of your entire application. You see the user experience layer, the web servers, the application servers, and the database tier all mapped out. And you see a glaring, impossible-to-miss bottleneck. The database tier is glowing bright red. The blame game ends before it even begins. It's not the network. It's not the storage. The problem is in the database. In seconds, you've isolated the issue to a specific domain, saving hours of wasted effort. But that's just the start. The database is still a vague answer. Which database? What's happening inside it? This is where Enterprise Manager's diagnostic capabilities become almost like a superpower. It's powered by something called the Automatic Workload Repository, or AWR. Think of the AWR as the black box flight recorder for your database. For every second of every day, it has been silently recording hundreds of critical performance statistics. It knows what normal looks like. It knows your busiest hours, your most common user actions, your most resource-intensive processes. So when the crash happened, AWR recorded everything. And sitting on top of that data is a powerful analytical engine called the Automatic Database Diagnostic Monitor, or ADDM. ADDM is like having a world-class performance tuning expert on call 24/7. It automatically analyzes the data from the time of the crash and generates a report in plain English. It doesn't just give you raw data. It gives you findings and recommendations. It might say, Finding 1. The primary bottleneck was excessive CPU usage. This was caused by SQL statement with ID XYZ123 being executed 50,000 times in 1 minute. Recommendation: consider tuning this SQL statement or creating an index on the orders table. Suddenly, you've gone from the system is down to the exact line of code that's causing the problem. But how do you find out why that code was running out of control? For that, you use another tool in the diagnostic pack called Active Session History, or ASH. ASH is even more granular than AWR. It takes a snapshot of every active session in the database, every single second. It tells you who was connected, what program they were running, and what specific action they were waiting on. Using the ASH Analytics dashboard, you can literally rewind time to the moment the system fell over. You can see a visual graph of thousands of user sessions, all piling up, all stuck waiting on the exact same thing. You see that the problem started right after the 3 a.m. code deployment. You click on the problematic SQL ID that ADDM identified. An enterprise manager shows you the full text of the query. A developer in a rush had pushed a new feature with a query that was missing a critical index, causing it to scan a billion-row table for every single customer lookup. The mystery is solved. The root cause is identified. Not in 2 days, but in under 10 minutes. You disable the new feature, the query stops running, and the system immediately comes back to life. The war room disbands before the coffee even gets cold. What Enterprise Manager provided wasn't just data. It provided clarity. It connected the dots from the end-user experience all the way down to a single faulty line of application code running inside the database. It transformed an organizational crisis built on opinions and blame into a simple technical problem with a clear, data-driven solution. This is the power of true end-to-end visibility. It's about reducing your mean time to resolution, or MTTR, from days to minutes. It's about saving your company millions in lost revenue and protecting your brand from public failure. You didn't just fix the problem, you understood it fundamentally, in a way that would have been impossible with a dozen disconnected tools. The fire is out. The crisis has been averted. Everyone is celebrating your team as heroes. But as the adrenaline fades, a new, more subtle question begins to emerge. The system is up, but it's slow. Customer complaints about sluggish page loads start trickling in. Your brand new, state-of-the-art consolidated platform is performing worse than the old clunky system it replaced. You've survived the heart attack, but now you're dealing with a chronic illness. How do you go from simply being online to being optimized? How do you proactively tune this complex beast to deliver the lightning-fast performance you promised the business? This is the fundamental question that separates the amateurs from the professionals. It's the difference between a sysadmin who keeps the lights on and a database architect who builds a performance dynasty. The answer lies in transforming your perspective. You have to stop thinking of your database as a single monolithic black box and start seeing it for what it truly is. A living, breathing ecosystem of millions of tiny interconnected events happening every single second. And just like a world-class doctor doesn't just ask, "How are you feeling?" They run a full panel of blood work and EKG, and an MRI. You need tools that can see what's happening on the inside. This brings us to the second monumental benefit of Oracle Enterprise Manager: its unparalleled suite of performance diagnostics and tuning tools. This isn't just a feature. It's a complete paradigm shift in how you manage performance. Forget the old ways of guessing and checking. Forget spending days trying to reproduce an intermittent slowdown that a user vaguely reported. Enterprise Manager acts as your database's dedicated team of specialist doctors, on call 24/7, constantly monitoring its vital signs with microscopic precision. At the heart of this system are two of the most powerful diagnostic tools ever created for a database: the Automatic Workload Repository, or AWR, and Active Session History, or ASH. Think of the AWR as your database's long-term medical chart. Every hour by default, it takes a comprehensive snapshot of every critical performance statistic you can imagine, and thousands you can't. It's tracking which SQL statements are consuming the most CPU, which ones are doing the most disk reads, what system events the database is waiting on, how your storage is performing, everything. It builds a historical baseline of what normal looks like for your unique workload. This isn't just data. It's institutional knowledge captured automatically. But what about those sudden sharp pains? The heart attacks we talked about earlier? That's where active session history, or ASH, comes in. If AWR is the hourly checkup, ASH is the real-time, second-by-second EKG hooked directly to the patient's heart. Every single second, it samples the activity of every single active session in the database. It records who was connected, what program they were running, what specific SQL statement they were executing, and most critically, what they were waiting for. Was it waiting for the CPU? Was it waiting for a slow disk? Was it waiting for a lock held by another user? SH knows, and it records it. The combination of these two is revolutionary. AWR gives you the long-term trend, the big picture. ASH gives you the forensic, granular detail of what happened at a specific moment in time. Let's make this real. Imagine the classic scenario. It's 3:05 p.m. on a Tuesday. The phone rings. It's the head of sales, and she's furious. The CRM is crawling. My team can't enter their call notes. Fix it. The developers immediately say, it's not our code, it must be a database problem. The storage team says, our arrays are fine, it's not us. The network team says, latency is normal. And you, the DBA, are stuck in the middle of a finger-pointing war zone. What do? The old way was a nightmare. You'd log into the server, frantically run commands like top to see CPU usage. You'd query a dozen different dynamic $V views, trying to piece together a puzzle in the middle of a fire. You might try to trace a user session, but by the time you enable the trace, the problem has vanished. You're left with no data, no answers, and a whole lot of angry executives. You're flying blind. Now let's replay that exact same scenario with Enterprise Manager. The phone rings at 3:05 p.m. You don't panic. You calmly open the Enterprise Manager Performance Hub for that database. Instantly, you see a massive, undeniable spike on the active sessions graph, right between 3 o'clock and 3:05 p.m. The entire graph, which was green all day, is now a terrifying wall of dark brown, which you know represents user I/O waits. You haven't typed a single command, and you already know more than you would have after an hour of frantic guesswork. You know the problem was caused by massive disk reads. But who caused it? You simply drag your mouse to highlight that 5-minute window on the graph. Immediately, the tables below refresh. The ASH analytics kick in. The top line under Top SQL shows a single SQL ID that consumed 95% of all database activity during that time. Right next to it is the username that ran it, J.Smith. And the module? Quarterly Sales Report. The case is blown wide open in less than 60 seconds. You've gone from a vague complaint to identifying the exact SQL statement, the exact user, and the exact root cause of the problem. There is no more finger pointing. There is only data. You can walk over to the development team, not with an accusation, but with a report. Hey guys, it looks like this query from the quarterly report, run by John Smith at 3 p.m., is doing a massive table scan and causing a storage bottleneck. Can we take a look at it together? You've turned a political battle into a collaborative, data-driven engineering problem. But Enterprise Manager doesn't just stop at finding the problem. That's only half the battle. Now that you have the rogue SQL statement, what do you do with it? Are you going to spend the next 4 hours analyzing its execution plan, trying to figure out the right index to create? No, you're going to use the SQL Tuning Advisor. You feed that problematic SQL ID into the advisor and click Go. Enterprise Manager takes over. It analyzes the query structure, the underlying table statistics, the data distribution, and the existing indexes. It runs a series of simulations in the background, testing out different access paths. And after a few minutes, it comes back with a concrete, actionable recommendation. It might say, create this specific B-tree index on the orders table, on the order_date and customer_ID columns. We project this will improve the performance of this query by 98%. It doesn't just give you the recommendation, it proves it. It shows you the before execution plan and the after execution plan. It quantifies the improvement. In some cases, it might even find a way to restructure the query itself to be more efficient and offer to create a SQL profile. which is like a set of invisible instructions that tells the database the absolute best way to run that query, without you ever having to change a single line of application code. This is the difference between being a database mechanic and being a database surgeon. You're not just swinging a hammer. You're using a high-precision laser to fix the exact problem, with a predictable and verifiable result. You apply the fix, the report now runs in 3 seconds instead of 5 minutes, and the head of sales thinks you're a wizard. This is the power of moving from reactive firefighting to proactive, data-driven optimization. You're no longer treating the chronic illness with guesswork and folk remedies. You're using advanced medical science to diagnose the root cause and prescribe the exact cure. Now the system is healthy, the performance is optimized, the users are happy, but in the world of IT, the one constant is change. The business is going to deploy a new version of the application next week. The data in that orders table is going to double in the next 6 months. How do you manage that constant evolution? How do you ensure that this finely tuned engine you've built doesn't get completely derailed by the next software patch or the natural growth of your business? How do you manage an entire fleet of these systems, not just one, keeping them all patched, compliant, and in sync? The answer lies in shifting your entire mindset from being a reactive firefighter to becoming a proactive fleet commander. This brings us to the third, and arguably the most powerful benefit of Oracle Enterprise Manager: comprehensive lifecycle management. Now, lifecycle management sounds like one of those dry corporate buzzwords, but I want you to completely erase that from your mind. This isn't about paperwork or checklists. This is about taking absolute control over your entire IT estate, from the moment a server is born to the day it's retired. It's the difference between building every car by hand, one at a time in a dusty garage, versus operating a state-of-the-art automated assembly line. Let's start at the beginning: provisioning. Imagine you need a new environment for a critical development project. What does that look like in a world without this level of management? It's a ticket. That ticket goes to a system administrator, who pulls a physical server or spins up a virtual machine. Then they have to install the operating system. Then they install the database software. Then they spend hours, maybe days, meticulously going through a 300-page manual or a series of convoluted internal wiki articles to configure everything just right. They're setting kernel parameters, creating user accounts, configuring storage, setting up networking. Every single step is an opportunity for human error. Typo, a misstep, a setting that's slightly different from the production environment it's supposed to mimic. 2 weeks later, if you're lucky, you get your environment. And it's probably not quite right. The developers start using it and immediately hit bizarre errors that no one can explain, all because of some tiny configuration drift between this new box and the gold standard. Now let's look at this through the lens of Enterprise Manager. With lifecycle management, you don't build from scratch. You clone. You create what's called a gold image, a perfect, pre-configured, pre-tested, and fully blessed template of your ideal environment. This image contains the operating system, the database, all your standard configurations, your security hardening scripts, everything. When that developer team needs a new environment, you don't open a 2-week ticket. You go to a self-service portal in Enterprise Manager, select the gold image, click a button that says Deploy, and you go get a cup of coffee. By the time you're back at your desk, a fully functional, perfectly consistent, production-identical environment is ready and waiting. This isn't a 2-week process anymore. It's a 30-minute process. Think about the business agility that unlocks. You're not just saving an admin's time. You're accelerating the entire pace of innovation for your company. You can spin up environments for testing, for development, for quality assurance, and tear them down just as easily, knowing with 100% certainty that they are all identical, eliminating that entire class of "it works on my machine" problems. That is the power of automated, profile-based provisioning. It's the assembly line, and it's a game changer. But building the car is only the first step. You have to maintain the entire fleet. And this is where we talk about the single biggest headache for most IT organizations on the planet: patching and upgrades. This is the weekend destroyer, the source of endless anxiety. You have hundreds, maybe thousands of systems. A critical security vulnerability is announced. Now what? The scramble begins. Spreadsheets are created to track every server, every database, every version. Teams are assembled for a weekend of all-nighters. You have to manually download the right patch for the right version of the right operating system for the right piece of hardware. Then you have to test it, hoping it doesn't break something else. Then you have to schedule downtime, which the business always hates. You log into each box one by one, run the patch installer, Cross your fingers and pray that the system comes back up. One mistake, one wrong patch applied to the wrong server, can cause a catastrophic outage. It's a high-stakes, manual, and utterly brutal process. Enterprise Manager completely flips this script with a feature called Fleet Maintenance. It treats your entire collection of databases and systems not as individual, disconnected entities, but as a single manageable fleet. Enterprise Manager knows exactly what you have, what version it's running, and what patches it needs. It connects directly to Oracle support, analyzes all available patches, and tells you precisely which ones are applicable to your specific environments. But it doesn't just tell you. It orchestrates the entire process. You can define a multi-step plan. First, deploy this patch to the development servers. Run a validation test. If it passes, automatically deploy it to the QA servers. Run another, more extensive test. If that passes, schedule a rolling deployment across your production cluster during a predefined maintenance window, ensuring zero downtime. It handles all the dependencies. It knows that you need to patch the operating system before you patch the database that runs on it. It automates the entire workflow, turning that weekend-long high-anxiety fire drill into a predictable, repeatable, and largely hands-off operation. You're no longer the frantic mechanic running from car to car with a wrench. You are the fleet commander, sitting in the control tower, directing the automated maintenance of your entire fleet with a few clicks. The reduction in risk and the reclamation of human time is simply astronomical. Finally, let's talk about the silent killer of IT stability: configuration drift. You used your gold image to build 100 identical database servers. You use fleet maintenance to keep them all patched to the same level. But over time, things change. A sysadmin logs in to troubleshoot an issue and changes a parameter to test something, but forgets to change it back. A new application is deployed that requires a specific, non-standard setting on its database. Slowly, imperceptibly, your perfectly uniform fleet begins to drift apart. These small, undocumented changes are security vulnerabilities waiting to happen. They are the root cause of those maddening intermittent performance problems that are impossible to diagnose. And when the auditors show up, and they ask you to prove that all of your production systems are compliant with your company's security policy, or with regulations like PCI DSS or HIPAA, how do you do it? With spreadsheets and screenshots? It's a nightmare. This is where Enterprise Manager's compliance and configuration management capabilities come in. You don't just define a gold image for building new systems. You define a gold standard for all systems. You codify your security policies, your performance best practices, and your corporate standards into a set of compliance rules within Enterprise Manager. And then you unleash it. Enterprise Manager continuously scans every single managed target in your environment, comparing its live configuration against your gold standard. It's like having a tireless, omniscient auditor working 24/7. The moment a parameter is changed, a file permission is altered, or a non-compliant piece of software is installed, Enterprise Manager detects it. It doesn't just detect it. It alerts you instantly, telling you exactly who changed what, when they changed it, and how it violates the policy. And it gets even better. For many types of violations, you can configure it to automatically remediate the problem, instantly changing the setting back to the compliant state. This isn't just about passing an audit. It's about enforcing a constant state of security and stability. You can say with absolute confidence that every one of your systems is configured exactly as it should be, because you have a system that doesn't just watch, it enforces. So when you put these three pillars together, the rapid, consistent provisioning, the automated and safe fleet-wide patching, and the continuous compliance and configuration enforcement, you realize that lifecycle management isn't just a feature. It's a strategy. It's a framework for running IT operations with the discipline, scale, and automation of a modern manufacturing giant. You're eliminating human error, drastically reducing security risks, and freeing up your most brilliant people from tedious, repetitive labor so they can focus on innovation. You're building a more stable, more secure, and infinitely more agile foundation for your entire business. But seeing these incredible technical capabilities begs a bigger question. How does all of this, the single pane of glass, the predictive diagnostics, the lifecycle automation, how does it all translate into real measurable business value? How do you justify the investment not just to the tech gurus but to the CFO? That is the billion-dollar question, isn't it? Because technology for technology's sake is just an expensive hobby. Business value is the only metric that truly matters in the boardroom. So let's break it down. Let's translate these technical benefits into the language of finance, the language of risk, and the language of opportunity. This is how you justify Oracle Enterprise Manager, not as a cost but as a strategic investment with a massive quantifiable return. The business case for Enterprise Manager rests on three powerful pillars. First, radical cost reduction. Second, bulletproof risk mitigation. And third, the acceleration of innovation and revenue. Let's start with the most direct and easiest one to explain to your CFO. Hard dollar cost savings. Think about your current environment. How many different monitoring and management tools are you paying for right now? You probably have one tool for performance monitoring, another for configuration management, a separate one for patching and provisioning, maybe a fourth for compliance reporting, and a fifth for database security scanning. That's 5 different software licenses, 5 different annual support and maintenance contracts, 5 different sets of training your team has to go through, 5 different vendors to deal with. It's an expensive, fragmented, and inefficient mess. Enterprise Manager consolidates all of that. It's not just one tool. It's a suite of what would otherwise be a dozen different products, all integrated into one platform, under one license. The moment you implement it, you can start decommissioning those other point solutions. The line item savings on software licensing and support contracts alone can be staggering. We're talking about potentially hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars per year, depending on the scale of your operation, that just drop straight to the bottom line. That's an immediate, tangible ROI that any CFO can understand. But the software consolidation is just the tip of the iceberg. The real operational savings come from human efficiency. Let's talk about your most valuable and most expensive resource, your people. Your database administrators. In a traditional environment, a single DBA might spend their entire day firefighting, manually checking logs, applying one-off patches, and responding to tickets. They can realistically manage maybe 20, 30, or if they're a rockstar, 50 databases. With Enterprise Manager, you fundamentally change that equation. The automation of routine tasks, patching, provisioning, compliance checks, frees them from the mundane. The single pane of glass and intelligent diagnostics means they aren't wasting hours hunting for the root cause of a problem. Instead of managing databases, they are managing by exception. The system tells them what needs their attention. This creates a massive force multiplier. Suddenly, that same rockstar DBA isn't managing 50 databases. They're managing 500. You haven't just made them 10 times more efficient. You've allowed your business to scale its data infrastructure by 10 times without needing to scale your headcount. That is a colossal operational expense avoidance. You can grow the business without growing the payroll for your core IT operations team. Now let's talk about the cost of something going wrong. The cost of downtime. This is where the numbers get really big really fast. Industry analysts estimate that for many enterprises, a single hour of downtime for a critical application can cost anywhere from $300,000 to over $1 million. Think about your customer-facing e-commerce platform going down on Cyber Monday. Think about your financial trading system freezing during a market spike. The cost isn't just lost revenue. It's SLA penalties, it's damage to your brand reputation, it's customer churn. This is where Enterprise Manager's proactive and predictive capabilities become an absolute game changer. That performance bottleneck it identified before it could crash the application, it didn't just save your team a stressful all-nighter, it saved the company a potential $500,000 revenue loss. That automated compliance check that found a misconfigured security setting, it didn't just generate a report, it prevented a potential data breach that could have resulted in tens of millions of dollars in regulatory fines and legal fees. This brings us to the second pillar, risk mitigation. This is often harder to quantify than direct cost savings, but it is arguably even more important to the long-term health of the business. Every board of directors is concerned about risk, security risk, compliance risk, operational risk. Enterprise Manager is one of the most powerful risk mitigation platforms you can deploy. Think about configuration drift. Over time, through manual changes and urgent hotfixes, your supposedly identical production servers slowly become unique, fragile snowflakes. This drift is a primary source of outages and security vulnerabilities. Enterprise Manager's configuration management capabilities act as a constant guardian. It continuously compares your systems against a gold standard configuration and automatically flags, or even remediates, any unauthorized changes. This enforces standardization, which in turn creates predictability and stability. It systematically eliminates the risk of it worked in dev, but broke in production errors, which are often caused by these subtle environmental differences. And then there's the big one, security. In today's world, a data breach is an existential threat. The financial penalties from regulations like GDPR and the California Consumer Privacy Act can be crippling. The reputational damage can be permanent. Enterprise Manager provides a centralized command center for your database security posture. It automates security assessments based on industry best practices and security benchmarks. It helps you manage user privileges to enforce the principle of least privilege. It centralizes audit data. It's not a replacement for dedicated security tools, but it is the foundational layer that ensures your most critical data assets are configured, patched, and monitored correctly, dramatically reducing your attack surface. It's the difference between hoping you're secure and knowing you are. Finally, let's talk about the third pillar, the one that gets the rest of the business, from marketing to product development, really excited: accelerating innovation. This is where Enterprise Manager transitions from being a tool that saves money to a platform that helps make money. In most companies, there's a fundamental tension between the teams that want to move fast and innovate, the developers, and the teams that need to ensure stability and security, the operations team. A developer needs a new database environment to test a new feature. In the old world, they file a ticket. The operations team has to manually provision a server, install the OS, install the database, configure it, and load the data. This process could take days or even weeks. That's a week that your new product feature is not in the hands of customers. That's a week that your competitor is catching up. Enterprise Manager shatters this bottleneck with its self-service provisioning capabilities, especially with features like pluggable database as a service. It allows you to create a curated catalog of standardized, pre-approved database services. Now that same developer can go to a self-service portal, select the type of database they need, click a button, and a fully configured production-like clone of a database is provisioned automatically in minutes. Not weeks, minutes. Think about what that does for your company's agility. Your time to market for new applications and features plummets. You can run more experiments, test more ideas, and innovate faster than your competition. You're not just speeding up IT. You are speeding up the entire business. That 3-week head start on a new product launch could translate into capturing an entire segment of the market. That is real, measurable revenue, enabled directly by your operational infrastructure. Moreover, by automating all of this routine work, you are liberating your most talented engineers. Your senior DBAs are no longer bogged down creating test environments or applying patches. They are now free to work on high-value strategic initiatives. They can focus on designing your next-generation cloud architecture, building out a data analytics platform, or optimizing your most critical systems for performance. You're effectively taking the intellectual capital you were spending on just keeping the lights on and reinvesting it into projects that will actively grow the business. So when you walk into that CFO's office, your argument is clear, compelling, and multifaceted. You're not just buying a piece of software. You are presenting a comprehensive business strategy. You're saying, with this investment, we will immediately lower our software licensing and operational costs. We will simultaneously reduce our exposure to catastrophic security and operational risks. And most importantly, we will transform our IT organization from a cost center into a powerful engine for innovation that allows us to get our products to market faster, smarter, and more reliably than ever before. That's a conversation that goes far beyond gigabytes and CPUs. That's a conversation about competitive advantage. And this competitive advantage isn't just a theoretical concept discussed in boardrooms. It's forged in the daily operations of the IT department. It's built on speed, on responsiveness, and on the ability to turn a great idea into a market reality before anyone else. This brings us directly to our third, and arguably most transformative, benefit of Oracle Enterprise Manager: achieving unprecedented business agility. In today's hyper-competitive landscape, agility is everything. It's the difference between leading the market and chasing it. It's the ability to pivot, to scale, to launch new services, and to respond to customer demands not in quarters or months, but in days or even hours. Traditionally, the database has often been the long pole in the tent, the bottleneck that slows everything down. A new application needs a database? That's a ticket, a 2-week wait. A development team needs to test a new feature? They need a clone of production, another ticket, another week of waiting. Patching for a critical vulnerability? That's an all-hands-on-deck weekend fire drill. This is the opposite of agile. This is IT as an anchor weighing the business down. Oracle Enterprise Manager flips this entire paradigm on its head. It transforms the database infrastructure from a rigid, slow-moving liability into a dynamic on-demand service that fuels innovation. And it does this primarily through its profound capabilities in lifecycle management and automation. Think about the entire lifecycle of a database. It needs to be provisioned. It needs to be configured to a specific standard. It needs to be patched, upgraded, cloned, and eventually decommissioned. Historically, each of these steps was a manual, bespoke, and error-prone process. A senior DBA would spend hours, even days, carefully building a new database server, running scripts, checking parameters, and praying they didn't miss a step. It was artisanal, but it was slow and inconsistent. Enterprise Manager introduces an industrial-strength, assembly line approach. Using features like provisioning profiles and gold images, you can define the perfect, standardized, fully patched database environment once. Just once. This becomes your template, your gold standard. From that point on, deploying a new database is no longer a multi-day project. It's a push-button operation. A developer can go to a self-service portal, select the type of database they need, a small one for development, a large one for performance testing, and click Deploy. Enterprise Manager takes over, automatically provisioning the infrastructure, installing the software, configuring it to your exact corporate standards, and handing the keys back to the developer, often in a matter of minutes. Now, consider the impact of that. A marketing team comes up with a brilliant new campaign idea that requires a new microservice. Before, the developers would have to tell them, "Great idea, but it'll take IT 3 weeks just to get us the environments, so we're looking at a 2-month project." The idea dies on the vine. With Enterprise Manager, the conversation changes. The developers say, "Great idea. We can get the environments we need this afternoon and have a prototype ready by the end of the week." That is business agility. That is the power of turning a bottleneck into an accelerator. And it doesn't stop at provisioning. The same automation applies to patching, which is a critical function for security and stability. We've all read the headlines about companies being breached because of a known vulnerability they failed to patch in time. Why does this happen? Because patching hundreds or thousands of databases manually is a nightmare. It's risky, it's time-consuming, and it requires downtime. Enterprise Manager's fleet maintenance capabilities completely change the game. You can orchestrate a complex, fleet-wide patching operation from a single console. You can test the patch on a non-production system, and then schedule a rolling deployment across your entire production environment, server by server, to minimize or even eliminate downtime. It validates the patch, performs pre- and post-checks, and gives you a complete audit trail. A process that used to consume an entire team for a full weekend can now be handled by one person in a few hours on a Tuesday afternoon. This isn't just about saving time. It's about drastically reducing your company's risk profile and freeing up your most talented engineers to work on projects that create value, not just perform manual toil. This deep automation is the foundation, but modern agility is also synonymous with DevOps. It's about breaking down the walls between development and operations, creating a seamless, automated pipeline from code creation to production deployment. And this is another area where Enterprise Manager shines, acting as a crucial bridge between these two worlds. Through its comprehensive REST APIs, Enterprise Manager integrates directly into the CI/CD toolchains that developers already use, like Jenkins, Ansible, or Terraform. So what does this mean in practice? It means a developer can write a piece of code and check it into their repository. This automatically triggers a Jenkins job that calls an Enterprise Manager API to provision a fresh, clean database from that gold image we talked about. The code is then automatically deployed and tested against this realistic database environment. If the tests pass, the API can then trigger a data refresh, cloning and masking sensitive production data to create a high-fidelity staging environment for final validation. All of this happens automatically, without a single ticket being filed or a single manual handoff between teams. This tight integration empowers developers. It gives them the self-service capabilities they need to move fast, but within the safe, standardized, and secure guardrails established by the operations team and Enterprise Manager. It means faster feedback loops, higher quality code, and dramatically accelerated release cycles. It allows you to release new features and bug fixes to your customers every day, instead of every 6 months. In the digital economy, that speed is a superpower. Finally, you can't talk about agility today without talking about the cloud. The ability to leverage the cloud is central to modern business strategy. But for many organizations, their most critical data and applications still reside on premises. This creates a hybrid reality that can be incredibly complex to manage. How do you maintain visibility? How do you enforce consistent security policies? How do you move workloads back and forth without massive disruption? This is where enterprise managers' role as the single pane of glass becomes a strategic enabler of agility. It doesn't care where your database lives. It can manage your on-premises Exadata machine, your Oracle databases running in OCI, your autonomous database, and even databases running on other clouds, all from the same console using the same tools and skill sets. This capability removes the fear and friction associated with cloud adoption. You can use Enterprise Manager to analyze your on-premise estate, identify the best candidates for cloud migration, and even use its tools to automate the migration process itself, minimizing risk and downtime. Once a workload is in the cloud, you don't lose control. You manage it just like any other database. You can compare its configuration to your on-premise standards, monitor its performance using the same metrics, and apply patches from the same interface. This gives your business incredible flexibility. You can adopt a cloud-smart strategy, placing workloads where they make the most sense, whether that's on-premise for security and performance, or in the cloud for elasticity and scale, without creating fragmented, unmanageable technology silos. This freedom to choose the right platform for the job without sacrificing control or visibility is the ultimate form of IT agility. It allows the business to adapt to changing market conditions, to scale up or down on demand, and to leverage the best of all worlds to deliver value to its customers. It's about making the entire Oracle estate, no matter how complex or distributed, work as one cohesive, manageable, and highly automated engine for the business. And that right there, that concept of a single cohesive engine, is the ultimate force multiplier. It's where our three core benefits stop being separate features on a checklist and start becoming a revolutionary way to manage your entire technology stack. Think about it. We talked about the first benefit, the single pane of glass. The power of having one place to see everything, from your on-premise Exadata to your cloud databases. But what good is a beautiful dashboard if it's just a passive window? It would be like having the most advanced cockpit in the world, but all the warning lights are disconnected. That's where the second benefit, proactive monitoring and diagnostics, comes into play. It plugs the wires into that dashboard. It makes the single pane of glass intelligent. It's not just showing you what's happening, it's telling you what's about to happen. It's the co-pilot whispering in your ear, "Hey, engine 3 is showing a slight pressure drop. It's fine now, but in 2 hours it could be a problem. Let's look at it." This synergy transforms you from a system administrator into a system strategist. You're no longer reacting to alarms, you're preventing them. You're not just observing the health of your estate, you're actively curating it. But even that isn't the full picture. So you can see everything and you know what's about to go wrong. What do you do about it? That's where our third benefit, end-to-end lifecycle management and automation, completes the trifecta. This is the so what. This is the action. Enterprise Manager doesn't just tell you a patch is needed. It gives you the tools to test, stage, and deploy that patch across hundreds of targets with a few clicks, using a fleet maintenance model that ensures consistency and minimizes risk. It doesn't just tell you a database is under-provisioned. It allows you to clone it, add resources, and redeploy it, all from that same console. You see how they lock together. The single pane of glass provides the visibility, the proactive monitoring provides the intelligence, and the lifecycle management provides the control. Remove any one of those pillars and the entire structure weakens. Without visibility, your intelligence is blind. Without intelligence, your control is aimless. And without control, your visibility and intelligence are useless. You're just a well-informed spectator to your own system's failures. Together, they create a virtuous cycle. Better visibility leads to smarter alerts, which leads to more efficient, automated actions, which in turn simplifies the environment, making it even easier to see and manage. It's a feedback loop of escalating efficiency. Now let's pull back from the technical weeds for a moment and talk about what this really means for a business. Because at the end of the day, technology is a means to an end. The end is business value. So what's the value here? First, it's a dramatic reduction in total cost of ownership, or TCO. Think about the human hours burned by teams toggling between 10 different monitoring tools. Think about the cost of an outage caused by a misconfigured server that could have been caught proactively. Think about the time spent manually patching hundreds of databases one by one, a process fraught with human error. Enterprise Manager automates the mundane, the repetitive, and the risky, freeing up your most valuable asset, your people, to focus on innovation. Your brilliant DBAs shouldn't be spending their days running health check scripts. They should be designing the next generation data architecture that's going to give your company a competitive edge. Enterprise Manager is the platform that allows for that shift. It turns your IT department from a cost center focused on keeping the lights on into a value creation engine. Second, it's about agility. In today's market, speed is everything. The business needs a new environment for a new app. The old way was a ticket, a 2-week wait, and a multi-team scramble. The Enterprise Manager way is a self-service portal where a developer can provision a standardized, fully patched, and secured database from a catalog in minutes. That's not just an improvement. That's a transformation in how IT delivers value. It's the difference between being a roadblock and being an accelerator for the business. And third, and perhaps most importantly, it's about de-risking your operations. Complexity is the enemy of stability. As environments grow, spanning on-premise, multiple clouds, and thousands of components, the potential points of failure grow exponentially. Enterprise Manager tames that complexity by standardizing configurations, automating compliance checks, and providing a single source of truth. It dramatically reduces the risk of security vulnerabilities, performance bottlenecks, and costly downtime. It ensures that your most critical data assets are managed, patched, and secured to a single high standard, no matter where they live. But let's bring it down to a personal level. If you're a DBA, a sysadmin, and IT manager, what does this mean for you and your career? Learning to master a tool like Enterprise Manager is one of the single best investments you can make. It elevates your role. You stop being the person who just fixes broken things. You become the person who builds the automated, self-healing system that prevents things from breaking in the first place. You become the performance tuning expert who can look across the entire stack, from the application code down to the storage array, and pinpoint the real bottleneck. You become the strategic advisor who can tell the CIO with confidence, yes, we can support that new business initiative, and here's the most cost-effective and secure way to deploy the infrastructure for it. You move from being a technician to being an architect. And this is not a static platform. The future of Enterprise Manager is deeply intertwined with the future of IT operations itself. AIOps and the journey toward the autonomous database. The machine learning algorithms are getting smarter every day. It's already moving beyond just flagging anomalies based on static thresholds. It's now learning the unique rhythm of your specific workload. It understands that a spike in activity at 9 a.m. on a Monday is normal. But that same spike at 3 a.m. on a Sunday is a critical anomaly that needs immediate attention. It's using predictive analytics to not just recommend patches, but to tell you which patches are most critical for your specific environment based on your usage patterns and configurations. The ultimate vision is a system that is largely self-driving, self-securing, and self-repairing. A system where the platform itself handles the routine maintenance, the performance tuning, the security hardening, allowing humans to focus on the highest level strategic goals. And Oracle Enterprise Manager is the command and control center for that vision. It's the bridge from the manual reactive IT of the past to the automated, proactive, and autonomous future. So as we wrap this up, let's be clear. Oracle Enterprise Manager isn't just another tool in the toolbox. It's the toolbox itself. It's a strategic control plane that offers unparalleled visibility, deep intelligence, and powerful automation across your entire Oracle estate. It breaks down silos, reduces costs, enhances agility, and mitigates risk. For the business, it's a competitive advantage. And for the IT professional, it's a pathway to becoming an indispensable strategic partner. It's about taking the most complex, mission-critical technology environments in the world and making them manageable, predictable, and fundamentally simple. It's about taking chaos and turning it into control.